101 is just about 7 a.m., about 5 seconds to 7 a.m. And just to let you know that we now make way for the morning watch. In the first watch, we have bullying in schools. And in the second watch, we have Peace Day. Be the peace. This is the morning watch with Reverend Dr. Dylan Toussaint.
Listeners, 101 FM are advised that the views and opinions expressed in this program are not necessarily those of Love 101 FM.
Hello and welcome to the Morning Watch on Love 101 FM. I'm your host, Dylan Toussaint. A special welcome to our listeners on love101.org, and if you're overseas and on the move, U.S. listeners can access us at 712-832-8001. And if you're in the UK, 0330-332-6541, or join us via the Love 101 FM app that can be downloaded from the Google Play Store or the Apple Store. You can also join us on Love 101 FM Facebook and YouTube Live. In the first watch today, bullying in schools. And in the second watch, Peace Day. Be the peace. For our social media question, we ask, what in your opinion accounts for the kind of bullying we see today in our schools? What in your opinion accounts for the kind of bullying we see today in our schools? We're asking you to share your responses on our Love 101 FM Facebook page and the YouTube channel, and also on WhatsApp 876-997-3125 using the hashtag The Morning Watch. We'll share your responses later on in the program, but before all of that, here's I quote.
All right, good morning, good morning. Today's I quote is an island quote, and it says, the more you look, the less you see. And it translates as, it is impossible to know every single detail about any matter. Also, the more you find out, the less you know. So the more you look, the less you see.
All right, good morning, Jokal.
Morning, how are you?
I'm well, Have you been looking and seen less?
Boy, I guess so,
The topic for the first watch is about bullying. I'm assuming you were never a bully in school.
Never.
So I'm asking you, were you ever bullied or any of your friends ever bullied? And if so, how did you deal with it?
All right, so I was never bullied. I was never a victim of bullying, but I've seen it before. In truth and in fact, to be completely honest, how it has been handled is just fighting it out. But we don't condone fighting here on Love 101. So yeah, that's how I used to say it happened, especially in primary school. So, all right, you trouble me? Baps, fight.
I'd say, did you get injured?
No, I was never a part of it. No.
Oh, you're not a part of it?
Never
okay.
a part of it.
You just edge them on,
Not even edge them on.
Okay, all right. Okay. We'll talk more about that another time. The first watch will be back after this break.
You work hard to make Jamaica a first-class destination. Isn't it time you receive the 5-star benefit? Retire smarter with the Tourism Workers Pension Scheme, a portable plan that also provides your family with financial security in case of your untimely death. It's easy, affordable, and accessible online. Retire and relax with the Tourism Workers Pension Scheme. Visit twps.myguardiangroup.com or call 876-927-4105. Guardian Life. Live secure. Live easy.
What is meant by the wrath of God? Who experiences his wrath and why? Tuesday, March 7 on The Rock, join host Bishop Hero Steve Blair and guests Reverend Mark Dawes and Mr. Silton Townsend as they discuss the topic, the wrath of God. That's The Rock, Tuesday, March 7 at 10 a.m. here on the family station, Love 101. Love 101, the family station, invites you to Take Time Drive. You can hear reminders and tips on why you should take time drive. Take Time Drive, a bulletin of the road safety tips to help you keep safe and your head sound while driving. You only have one life. Drive it well. Take Time Drive on the family station, Love 101.
So this is how we do it. I've got love in my heart and I'm
Get ready for another inspiring show this Testimony Tuesday inside Alive, 1 to 5, March 7th, packed with inspirational stories and island-flavored music. 1:45, we bring you the brain-testing Menticize Listener Speak Edition. Stick around for prayer blast at 2 o'clock as we ring in the prayer bells of heaven. 2:15 inside the evidence, we share with you part 2, the healing of blogger Journey with Janice. And then at 3 p.m., we go behind the pulpit with the man with a powerful story, Minister Stanford Bennett of the World Light and Power Victory Ministry. All this and more will come your way inside Alive, 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. March 7th with me, Sarah, and the Chirpy One on the family station, Love 101.
got some praise. Give him praise. Give him praise.
Hey, small people, listen up. Join us weekdays, Monday to Friday, 4 p.m. to 4:30 p.m. for the Small People Show with Auntie Colleen. Yes, every day we have something educational and fun for you to enjoy. Plus, on a fifth Friday, you get a chance to hail up your friends and community, and you could win a prize too. That's the Small People Show, where we aim to build characters and empower our small people for the future. Remember to tell a friend and stay for the fun. It's the Small People Show with Auntie Colleen on the family station, Love 101.
Welcome back to the Morning Watch. I'm your host, Dylan Toussaint. Now, some time ago, UNICEF reported that half of the students aged 13 to 15 worldwide, around 150 million young people, report having experienced peer-to-peer violence in or nearby their schools. Around the same time, it was reported that 6 out of 10 Jamaican students say they have been bullied at some point in their lives, with almost 30% of students surveyed fearing going to school because of bullying. And 9 out of 10 students have seen a child being bullied at school. Wow. Now, it can't be hard to imagine that today, a more recent study would more than likely register higher statistics in all those areas. So, what is it about bullying that perpetuates this horrendous behavior, especially in our schools? Well, to help us answer this question, we have online Dr. Rene Llewellyn, President of the Association of Deans of Discipline, and Mr. Linvern Wright, President of Jamaica Association of Principals and Vice Principals. Good morning to you both.
Good morning, both. Morning, listeners.
Great. Dr. Llewellyn, with us? Okay, not
Yes.
hearing Dr. Llewellyn, are you with us? Okay. All right. We're not having her online again as yet. Okay. Mr. Wright, still there?
Yes, I'm here.
Yes, right. What are the concerns you have as the principal of a school, and in the association you're involved in regards to bullying in our schools?
Well, I mean, a number of us have seen a number of students who are doing some of these things more for. They're doing these things for show. So it's on the videos, they do this thing on the videos and they show it. I don't know if it's on the right. The things that are shown there, that the statistics that you read suggests a high number. I have seen this in my school where, things happen. Up to yesterday, I got a report, I got a video of something happening in my school. And the important thing to me is for us to talk about it. We were talking about it and deal with it up front,
Mm. So you're saying you're seeing it on a regular basis, alarming basis, much concern, or is it sporadic?
It There are some we know about, there are some things that we don't know about. The important thing to me is that we have to just remain alert. One of the things I've said to students in my school, if you're out there and you see what is happening, I know your video things. You know, I discourage it for certain purposes, but I say send them to me. So one of the things that I am doing now is that I'm using the videos to our advantage to ensure that they know we understand what is happening and we see it. I say to parents, report it to us. You know, I am in contact with principals of nearby schools. I say, you know, let us talk about things, and we're doing that kind of thing. So we know it's out there, but I think that if it is that we collaborate and we ensure that information comes in and we target those who are doing it, then we will cauterize the problem. And one of the things I must tell you, Doc, is that it is not the majority of students who perpetuate it, but there are a set of students sometimes in schools who feel that they need to do these things. And it comes out of many things. They might meet from different communities that see these kinds of things, you know, the extortion. So these people will take money from students. They will force students to do things and maybe get physical, as you might have seen in that video from another school. Many of them get physical too frequently now. But many of these things are really, I mean, sometimes what they come to you, they say, sir, the boy are pre-me. I mean, one of the things with many of these students, you can't even.
What I mean by pre, by the way,
that you're looking at them. They don't want anybody to look at them.
Stare at them and
kind of thing. Right, they don't want that. So there are some students who feel that nobody should look at them, but they can stare down people. You know, so my thing is to, and as I said, I've been a principal close to 20 years now, and I have seen these things in school for all the years I have been. To be honest with you, I've always seen it. So, you know, I have an approach to dealing with it where I'm just very serious about it. I know many of my colleagues are, but we are seeing much of it on videos now, and as such, I think the society is getting more aware of it. There's greater levels of indignation about it, and so many of us feel a level of support to deal with it, because sometimes when you are dealing with many of these issues, sometimes a few of the same parents will say that the child never did it, but now you're getting the graphics of them. And so people can see that really the problem really exists. And it is something that we have to clamp down and be serious about. Because my association and the principals believe that the students who are in school to learn ought not to feel intimidated and feel afraid to come to school because of those who don't want to learn. And so we believe that a hard stance needs to be taken against students who are persistently doing this kind of thing, and then and having other students feeling, you know, psychologically, stressed out, to come to school. We don't want that.
Yeah. You know, the American Psychological Association, in its material, its documents in terms of bullying and all of those behaviors in school, defines bullying as a form of aggressive behavior in which someone intentionally and repeatedly causes another person injury or discomfort. Now, one of the things I want to pose to you as a question, Mr. Wright, how would you differentiate bullying from, say, ragging? Some people call it initiation. Some people just say, boy, they're just monkeying around, they're just playing.
At a personal level, I feel ragging, nor that has any kind of place in education.
You're against ragging totally?
I'm totally against it. In fact, as a student, when I was at university, none of them would rag me.
Yes.
Because I don't feel that at a university level or any level like that. And these things, to me, fester and develop wings in places like universities and tertiary institutions. And I do not think that those are things that educational institutions should encourage. Because what you're saying to me as a higher level of education is that what you see as a way of initiating people into scholarship, into socializing people to become more responsible citizens is to make them feel uncomfortable, because people feel uncomfortable with it. And
but I think people when they leave, they talk glowingly about it. They laugh.
Yes, because we have normalized it. There are people who talk glowingly about violence. Many people talk glowingly about violence. Many people talk glowingly about being gunslingers. And in my view, educational institutions must never promote these things.
Forgive me, Mr. Wright. Forgive me. We're up at a break time. All right, hold that very important thought. So we'll be right back.
Here's a message from the Heart Foundation of Jamaica. Let's get unhealthy foods and beverages out of our schools. The time, courtesy of the Heart Foundation of Jamaica, is
7:15.
Share in the experience at Fontana Pharmacy. We have a wide variety of items in store just for you. Fill your prescriptions while you shop. And senior citizens enjoy 10% off. Shop household, cosmetics, toys, and many other departments. We also offer curbside pickup and delivery. Visit our website at fontanapharmacy.com. Fontana Pharmacy, where it's all good inside.
From generation to generation, Jamaicans have depended on J&B Bank to make the pride and joy of providing a safe place for their families possible. Now, with no processing fees and no down payment mortgage options, you can open the door to your own sweet home, a legacy to hand to your next generation. Visit jnbank.com to get pre-approved today. J&B Bank will help you find a way.
Do you have a heart condition? Your care should be in the hands of our experienced cardiovascular team at Partners Interventional Center of Jamaica. We're one of the leading heart centers for angiogram, stenting, pacemakers, EP studies, and ablation therapy. PICJ has the expertise and latest technology to treat all your heart needs. Call 876-995-7425 or email info@pic-jm.com for appointments. PICJ, your partners for life.
Welcome back to the Morning Watch. Thanks for staying with us. I'm your host, Llewellyn Toussaint, and in this, the first watch, we have been discussing bullying in schools. And in so doing, we have online Mr. Linvern Wright, President of Jamaica Association of Principals and Vice Principals. Before the break, Mr. Wright, you're telling us about your concerns about bullying, but also ragging. You're against ragging.
Yes, as I'm saying, I think that one and the same. I mean, ragging is just organized bullying in my mind.
Organized bullying.
Yes, I just think it has no place in educational institutions, especially of higher learning. That's just my view on it.
Yes. From your experience, Mr. Wright, what would you say are the factors that you have identified or can identify which accounts for bullying in our schools especially? And are there any demographics that could assist in that?
I don't know if I have any demographics, but one of the things I see is that, I always say monkey see, monkey do. I think this level of intimidation in terms of extortion, in terms of a kind of done approach to things, in terms of how we justify. Right. Yes, in terms of how we handle situations in society, we always try to go for the strong arm persons, or we feel that the weak are not people that have a place in society with strong. So I think it's lack of proper socialization to people come and feel that we have to be dominant about things. And so many students seek to assert themselves in that situation. So the way they do it in the rest of society, they see those happening with the adults in their circles. And in many instances, they come into the school to do it. It comes out of many other things too, because there are some students who are themselves bullied at home. They are bullied in the community, and they see it as a way of asserting themselves in a space outside of where they are. So for many of them, based on my understanding, it provides some kind of relief. So I get that at home, I get that, in my community. So I come to school and I give it back to somebody because I'm stronger, I'm a little more aggressive, and I'm able to bully some people, and they get delight out of it. There are many of them who unfortunately get delight out of it. One of the other things too is that when they come, sometimes they're encouraged by others, so they form groups. We call it gang. Some people call it gang, and they protect their however they want to call it, but they're not cheap if it is that they have that. There are many of them who want to do that kind of thing. But one of the things too that I feel we have in our country is this delight in aggression as a way of proving dominance. And so fighting and aggression and violence is something that I think as a society we glorify. And because there's a glorification of that, I think many of the children feel that those things are okay. So you go in many communities, and I don't know if you notice, I mean, a child growing up, we say, bad, almost with delight, in admiration. And so many of our children actually feel that these things are okay. What really needs to be happening is that we need to be discouraging these kinds of things, these kinds of behaviors. And we need to stop, strengthening, giving strength to these people, reinforcing these behaviors, as I would say in psychology. We really need to stop doing that because I think there is too much of that. That bad man approach, that aggressive approach, as the way of doing things.
Yeah. What role would you think social media plays in that?
Social media to me is about broadcasting it. And it's more about broadcasting, but it also sends messages because if you are online, because there's online bullying, which is a huge thing, know that students will threaten each other about what they're going to do. Students will come to you to tell you that I got this message, and you can see the fear in them. So to me, once you communicate that sense of fear that something is going to be done to you, and there's a psychological effect. The social media has that capacity, has that effect. To help those who are in this mode of bullying others, to perpetuate it. And
again, there's a financial component that also comes with that. Threatening if you don't comply.
It's not even just yes. Because what they do, because I've had complaints from parents, and I'm sure my colleagues have had such complaints. The students extort each other. And what they do is that the fear factor is a huge thing. I had to make an announcement in my school. I just make a public announcement to say anybody who is asking you for money, whether or not they're claiming that they're begging for lunch or anything, I need to know because we have a welfare system in the school. I said to them, come to us. So we sought to cut that out because we know that it existed.
I want to drill down a little bit more on the demographics because I'm looking actually at an article that my producer sent me this morning in regards to a seminar, it seemed, that was held among you principals. Yeah. And one of the speakers, presenters, I'm not sure, was making the point that he's seeing it, the alarming, concerning figures in regards to the girls, not just the males, but the females. Yeah. What's your take on that?
We're finding that the females are far more into broadcasting, into displaying their aggression so others can see, so they will say what they have done and how the students suffered under their hands, that kind of things. We find that the students the girls are very delighted in my mind in broadcasting that because it establishes their dominance. And it's not just me who think that, and those statistics bear out how many principals, what many schools are experiencing.
So if you do the boys alone, I mean, because they would say boys will be boys. Well, if girls are joining in this regard, is a serious thing going on then, Mr. Principal?
It is. And what has happened, as I said, there's a thing where the boys, you see them do it, you expect to handle it. But as I say, the girls are into it now, and so gender-wise, there's a distinction between who will do it now. In fact, the girls seem to be racing the boys to ensure that they catch up.
Can you imagine? How are bullies and their victims usually dealt with in our schools today?
Well, hello?
Yes, Mr. Wright, continue.
Yes. Well, where it is something that we find is persistent. I mean, some people you talk with them, you send them to counseling. So it ranges from that to you might have to, say to these people, we can't keep you here anymore because other people are feeling unsafe with the presence. Yeah, and the fact is that what I do at my school, I have to watch this, and any time at all, any situation comes up and this name comes up, I ensure that we are onto it. So, in fact, some of my students complain because sometimes the bullying is from neighboring schools, our students bullying neighboring schools and other schools neighboring. Because it's about for some of them, it's about identity too, So they do it according to which group they identify with, so they're supporting their groups. And I am in dialogue with principals in relation to that, so that we ensure that across schools. In fact, one of the things that one of my colleagues has said this morning, because we are actually walking distance away from each other, is that we want to have a joint devotion this morning for them to understand that as principals we are together on how we feel that these things ought to be dealt with. It's Peace Day today. Yeah. So we are about that kind of thing. So at least to make a public statement to our students, we really we're just in different color uniforms for purposes of school identity. But we feel the same about things. If it is that we are intimidated, we feel the same way for money is taken away. We feel the same way for physically abuse each other. And as principals, we discourage. And if it is that people persist with it, then we will have to do what we have to do in terms of either sending it for counseling, or if it is that we have to expel it from school, unfortunately, then that has to be the way.
You mentioned about counseling. How effective are the guidance counselors or guidance counseling vis-a-vis when you send them to a dean of discipline to be dealt with? I mean, how you determine which one you send and how effective?
It depends on the nature of the problem. So students who, so for example, there are some of them who you notice that they are doing this because of what is happening to them at home. So a guidance counselor will have to get involved to have them understand that not because this is happening to you, then you have to perpetuate it on another. There is a more constructive way of dealing with what is happening. A constructive way could be that we intervene by doing home visits, find out what is happening to the children, and change the approach a parent has to that particular child to ensure that that child, him or herself, don't feel intimidated and feel that they have to perpetuate that, or express their fears about home in another way, or feel that they have to meet this out to somebody else because they got it. So those kinds of conversations are what your guidance counselor will have with them. When it gets a little more serious, when it gets physical, then, the dean is a person who comes in. Sometimes we recommend them to outside help. So we bring in people from Ministry of Justice sometimes to talk with many of the ones that seem to want to do these kinds of things more than others, are more persistent than others.
A comment I'm receiving as we speak is that students, some of them are saying they don't trust guidance counselors. How do you deal with that?
I mean, if they don't. The fact is that if it is that we have no basis to say that, confidentiality has been breached, we can't do anything about it. I have had situations where students say they feel more comfortable with me as a principal. They might feel more comfortable with a guidance counselor. They might feel more comfortable with vice principal. They might feel more comfortable with a teacher. My thing is speak to whomever you're comfortable with. And as professionals, all of us are supposed to have that sense of confidentiality to these children if it is that they share things with us. The fact is that what I think children want when they come to you is an effective way of dealing with it. They want it to stop. A child can't take it anymore and it is affecting them. They want it to stop. So my thing is we just have to ensure that we deal with it. I've always said to my teachers, my vice principals, for me, it's not about suspension or expulsion. We must ensure that we address the matter effectively. Because sometimes it is not a suspension that is going to address the matter. It may be building a relationship with a child who feels lonely, who feels that they're using this as a way of getting attention. And we have to find ways within the schools, through clubs, through building relationships with them, through getting them involved in projects, through getting them, paired with other students who are successful and enjoying the kind of success they see other students getting, to feel better about themselves. Because in many instances it's about confidence, about building their own confidence, but it's a misguided approach to building confidence. And as a school, you really want to focus them on what is a more helpful and healthy approach to building confidence and building self-esteem.
A fitting note on which to end our discussion. I want to thank you so very much, Mr. Linvern, Wright. Today's Peace Day. Happy Peace Day to you and the students, the teachers. And keep up the good work.
No problems, brother. Time.
Bless you. Listeners, the Morning Watch will return in just a moment.
JN Bank Small Business Loans. Tell us your business and let's turn your ambitions into reality. The time by JN Bank Small Business Loans is
7:30.
Need a holiday? Book your tax holiday by using your Sagicor Bank Business Credit Card to pay your taxes. You'll get a 1-month payment holiday. Conditions apply.
Crystal Clear and Sharp Vision. Ultra Clear is a total natural herbs formulated to activate the adult replacement stem cells in your body, sending them to the eyes to repair the damaged cells. Take 1 teaspoon daily in hot water and watch the improvement in your vision. To get yours, call Hafco Herbs. 876-540-8871. That's 540-8871 or WhatsApp 533-0462.
And he knows my name.
Here is your opportunity to connect with someone who will listen, pray, and give guidance. It's the Ministry of Counseling and Prayer of the Edgewater Baptist Church. Please call 876-220-6474 or 876-332-7956. Weekdays between 8 a.m. and 9 p.m. Saturdays and Sundays between 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. Please talk to someone if you're finding it particularly challenging to cope during this period of crisis. Someone is waiting for your call. Please reach out today, 876-220-6474 or 876-332-7956. It's the telephone counseling and prayer ministry of the Edgewater Baptist Church. A reminder that somebody cares. Endorsed by Love 101.
When I come to the end of myself, Father, carry me.
Welcome back to the Morning Watch. Thanks for staying with us. I'm your host, Dylan Toussaint. Let's now look at the newspapers to see what Jamaicans and others are indeed saying and doing. In the Gleaner, Peru, 6 soldiers drowned in river while responding to protests. And then in the Observer, teachers on edge, educators state sittings over wage negotiation. Finance Minister says total retroactive compensation is $12 billion. And then Sykes hands down more guilty verdicts, says end of case is near. And in Loop News, PNP protests local government election postponement, asks others to join. And also end of Clans trial in sight. Black man convicted, re 3 more murders. Those are some of the major stories in our newspapers. Well, coming up next, we'll read some of our feedback from our social media question. What, in your opinion, accounts for the kind of bullying we see today in our schools? What, in your opinion, accounts for the kind of bullying we see in our schools today? We're asking you to leave a comment on our Facebook page and YouTube channel, Love 101 FM Jamaica, or WhatsApp 876-997-3125. We'll be right back.
Sometimes all we need is a listening ear. The listening ear, the counseling, the logical reasoning, and spiritual guidance are what appeal to us. That's why I'm here. I'm Dr. Joan Pinkney, the counselor, your counselor on Love 101 FM, Tuesdays and Wednesdays, 10 to 11 p.m. You know you can call on me. I will listen and more. So let's talk about what's bothering you. Anything. Tune in, listen, call in, text or voice message. I'm Dr. Joan Pinkney, counseling psychologist, ready with a listening ear, Tuesdays and Wednesdays, 10 to 11 p.m. Right here on the family station, Love 101 FM.
What is meant by the wrath of God? Who experiences his wrath and why? Tuesday, March 7 on the Rock. Join host Bishop Harold Steve Blair and guests Reverend Mark Dawes and Mr. Silton Townsend as they discuss the topic, The Wrath of God. That's The Rock, Tuesday, March 7 at 10 a.m. here on the family station, Love 101.
I've got love in my heart and
Get ready for another inspiring show this Testimony Tuesday inside Alive, 1 to 5, March 7th, packed with inspirational stories and Allen-flavored music. 1:45, we bring you the brain-testing Menticize Listener Speak Edition. Stick around for prayer blast at 2 o'clock as we ring in the prayer bells of heaven. 2:15 inside the evidence, we share with you part 2, the healing of blogger Journey with Janice. And then at 3 p.m., we go behind the pulpit with a man with a powerful story, Minister Stanford Bennett of the World Light and Power Victory Ministry. All this and more will come your way inside Alive, 1 p.m. to 5 p.m., March 7th with me, Sarah, and the Chirpy One on the family station, Love 101.
give him praise.
Welcome back to the Morning Watch. Thanks for staying with us. I'm your host, Dylan Toussaint. Let's now join Jokal for a look at how our Facebook, YouTube, and WhatsApp friends answer today's question: what, in your opinion, accounts for the kind of bullying we see today in our schools? Jokal.
All right, so I have a response here from Mitzi. Mitzi is from St. Thomas. This is on our WhatsApp line, and Mitzi is saying, when the presence of God is removed from the schools via prayer, the forces of darkness will intensify in the form of bullyism. So that is what she responds here and said, and that's the only one that I have here for right now.
Okay. Is that Mitzi you said?
Mitzi from St. Thomas, yes.
All right. Mitzi, thank you so very much. And I agree with you. We need to constantly take heed of what's going on in our schools and ensure that the presence of God in a real way be felt and experienced. Thank you so very much. All right, listeners, as we segue into the second watch, our first watch was about bullying in schools. Now we're talking about peace, because it's Peace Day. Now it's a blue day today. So it's suggested we all wear blue. Not because of any sad occasion, but because today is Peace Day. And this year's theme is Be the Peace. In that regard, the Violence Prevention Alliance, that's VPA, in collaboration with its partners, will also be commemorating Peace Day. And to tell us more about this, we have joining us Ms. Jonelle Llewellyn, Research Associate of the Violence Prevention Alliance, and Mr. Jabari Miller, Trainer, Drum Therapy Project, also from the Violence Prevention Alliance, VPA. Good morning to you both.
Hi, good morning, Dylan. Good morning, Jahbar.
Great, good to have you both with us. Ms. Llewellyn, what is your understanding of Peace Day, and what does VPA seek to gain or accomplish from associating with such a day?
Sure, not a problem. Well, there are two Peace Days. One in September, which is the one that is on the international scale, and we have our local Peace Day today. Now, we realize that we have to have local adaptations. Yes, we can always take things from overseas and bring them in, but if it's not fitted to our landscape, we realize that it may not work. So we have a dedicated day here in Jamaica. But on the note of bullying, though, I just want to add, I'm seeing that our theme is Be the Peace. Peace building really seeks to address the underlying causes of conflict, helping people to resolve their differences, lay the foundation to prevent future violence or future conflict. So essentially, I believe that peace begins with us as individuals. That is how we relate to people, how we be understanding of those differences in opinions, how we be approachable, willingness to reconcile, So sometimes when that foundation is set, we have to integrate into society and promote those peaceful and peaceful solutions. So all that we're seeing that is happening around us. We mentioned bullying, and I'm sure that we've seen the videos of school sites and so forth. The ones who are around in those areas, be the person recording or the people standing still, we have to acknowledge that, we too are influencers in our own way. What do we do at that point when we see something happening? Call it out, have a discussion with the person after. Just find some solutions. We can't just be observing and not acting right away or acting later to help make a difference. But our peace day is a happy day, as you said. We're in blue today, and we have a series of activities that will be taking place in different spaces.
Yeah, interesting. Mr. Miller?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, your opening thoughts on that, because I want to just say while you respond, there are those who believe that peace is really a nebulous concept.
Yeah.
And that it doesn't mean that you're not fighting, because you could be at war within your own self. You could have bad thoughts about the individual, which they regard as not being peaceful or not having peace in your own being. What's your thought on that?
Well, I'll just adjust that right away. Peace not really means you might not have a bad thought, you might not fight, but it's the thought which counteract it right away. Because just like when you have a battery, you have a negative and positive, but I make one battery, so you have to make a flow the current, right? So the peace, as Jonelle stated, a lot of time begin with ourselves, because enough time, a lot of people face external bullying, but enough time we want a bully. So, as she stated, if we can find a level there to balance out the peace, not just acting like you're a saint or you get up and, no, it's to find the balance within, you have that thought, all right, what is the solution? Because the VP have a slogan was say, working together to find solution. So, we're all about that right now for this local peace day.
Yeah, I appreciate that as well. Ms. Llewellyn, how long has the Violence Prevention Alliance been around? And what other projects has it embarked on over those years?
Sure. We've been around from November 2004. We really came out of a medical research conference that was held at the University of the West Indies, where we looked at violence from a public health approach and to see how best it can be diagnosed using a multi-sectoral collaborative effort. So in terms of projects that we do, most of them are aligned to working with high-risk children, high-risk students, unattached youth. But we also try to use the data that is made available, be it from the JCF, that's the Jamaica Constabulary Force. We use the violence-related injuries coming into the hospitals, because we realize that the hospitals are really a first point of contact. So telling the story of violence. So someone may come in with a laceration, a gunshot wound, a stab, someone being acid, and we have our team of social workers and violence interrupters who look at those cases, speak to those clients while they're in the hospital, see if they can make some connection to the family, and then go into the community to not only try to dissolve the situation, but find out what happened so that it doesn't happen again. And our partners will work very closely with our partners. We have restorative justice, because you can imagine that most of these intrafamilial conflicts are over matters to do with land, matters to do with ownership of various material items, etc. So they're one of our critical partners. We also work with the Child Protection and Family Services Agency that came out of COVID, because we realized that the children couldn't leave the homes, but yet they needed to be engaged in some kind of positive activity, and we took the drum into them. I could spend all day here with you, Dylan, speaking about what we do, but we like to use the data and put it to good use.
So it's an NGO.
That's correct.
And in many ways, is it voluntary, or are persons paid, or is it sponsored? How's that?
Well, I'd like to say that we get grants, and the grants provide funding for persons to be staffed, but we heavily rely on volunteers as well. So it's twofold. So if we have project funding, we can carry something in a more sustained way, be it over 3 months, be it over 5 years. It depends on the scale of the project. But from time to time, we realize that we need more hands on board. So getting those hands may come at a cost. Some persons may like to give time and resources in kind. So it's a working cycle of different efforts then, so to speak.
Okay. Mr. Miller.
Yes.
We are approaching the break right now. At the other end of this break, I'm going to ask you about this drumming therapy project, all right?
Yeah, man.
All right, soon be back.
Great.
taxes? Use your Sagicor Bank business credit card and get a 1 month payment holiday. Conditions apply. The time by Sagicor Bank is
7:45.
In case of an earthquake and the place that's shaking, drop, cover, and hold on. Drop, cover, and hold on. In case of an earthquake.
Case of an earthquake, you gotta stay calm. Move away from doors, windows, and things that can fall. Try not to use steps or elevators at all.
Learn how to protect yourself during an earthquake. Log on to weready.org. That's weready.org for more information.
For 61 years, Under the Law has been helping you to know your rights and how the laws of Jamaica can help you defend those rights. The program is brought to you on Tuesdays by the Ministry of Agriculture and Fisheries, Grow Smart, Eat Smart, and on Thursdays by the National Compliance and Regulatory Authority, Health, Safety, and Fairness in Trade. Under the Law at 6:20 a.m., 2:35, 6:45, and 9:10 p.m. on Love 101 FM.
They're full of life. You're full of love. They're carefree. You care more. That's why we created Child Protector, a critical illness insurance plan from Sagicor Life. It provides coverage for your child in the event of 15 critical illnesses, hospitalization benefits, life insurance, and investment benefits. So make sure your child can live life to the fullest. Apply for Sagicor Child Protector today.
Welcome back to the Morning Watch. Thanks for staying with us. I'm your host, Llewellyn Toussaint. And in this, the second half of the second watch, we're looking on Peace Day. And in so doing, we have online Mr. Jabari Miller, trainer, drum therapy project from the Violence Prevention Alliance, VPA, and Ms. Jonelle Llewellyn, research associate, also from the VPA. Now, as promised, after the break, we said we would ask you, Mr. Miller, about this drum therapy project.
Yeah.
What is that about? How does it work? And how does it relate to peace?
Well, first of all, it's about, I just said, drum therapy. So that means that for people being relieved of certain thoughts, as they would put it, certain experiences through drumming. So we are planning to have a drum circle where you would play and just kind of get into a rhythm where the drum puts you into a chanting, a special type of mood. Present.
Into a what? A chanting?
Yes.
You never said trance, right? You said chanting.
Yeah, man, playing the drum and chanting within yourself, you know. Because remember we talk about certain thoughts, you know. So the drumming is going to relieve you from certain thoughts because it's the thoughts and the experiences which bombards the mind, you know, and the brain, you know. So the drumming now, as Professor Elizabeth Ward has done the research and stated, that it kind of improves certain brain functions and release certain feel-good chemicals. So the drumming puts you into that rhythmic mood and take you away from such experiences. So it's a way of healing and therapy. And that put into a different way of thinking for the children and a different level of environment where they don't have to be worrying about violence. That is Violence Protection Alliance. You know what I mean? So we incorporate it with peace because we are with love and this is Love 101. So it all correlates in a very beautiful way.
How you get peace out of that though, Mr. Miller?
Because when you play a drum, you meant no war. You have focus on your instrument, you're in tune with what you're doing. You
can play the drum and be thinking on war. Hasn't in the past drums been used for warfare?
No, them used for warfare, but them not. Remember saying no, our ancestors when them go fight war, them not fight war for war. Them not fight for peace. So yeah, I want my thing say, yeah, play drum for war. No, you're playing drum for break down warfare, but you have to fight to break down warfare.
So are there words? Are there words? Or do they sing? Do they hum?
Well, they can sing and they can hum, but the focus is right now playing the drums, making those palms. The palms are portal. Your body is a temple. So once you get aligned with that drum, you start to play things where you don't even know you can play because the inborn thing, remember you have a heartbeat, you know, your heartbeat is the first drum, you know.
Yeah.
Everybody heart sync with one heart, you know.
Yeah.
Then, so once you in a circle and you begin drumming, that means you're going to become one mind. Everybody in that circle is going to become one mind with that rhythm, with that tempo, with that beat. So now no time right now for you to think about anything else. So the VPA have this special idea. So okay, let us see this. Let us correlate the drumming piece there, and let us see firsthand how this is going to affect the children. What's going to come out of this? So this is what we're dealing with right now.
Interesting. Miss Llewellyn, how impactful, effective has this drum therapy project been? You know, and have there not been concerns raised about things like mind control and all them things there?
Oh yes, we've heard about it, and when you had mentioned trance, it brought me back to an incident where, you know, just general concerns were being laid. But we look at it from the tool of being that to bring about awareness, bring about team building, developing interpersonal relationships. Because with the circle, as you can imagine, you would start out introducing yourself, explain why you're here, what you want to achieve in the circle, and anybody can frame a circle around a specific thing, be it an existing conflict, be it just an exercise to bring persons together, you name it. But with the data, as I mentioned to you before, we have a strengths and difficulties questionnaire that we normally work with high-risk children or high-risk students. Level measures of their pro-social skills. So are they having good relationships between their peers? Are they having good relationships between their caregivers, in the case of the home, or their teachers? Do they isolate a lot? So it asks a lot of questions about your social emotional well-being. And we realize that once we inject this program and we do a follow-up testing with them, there are some improvements. It could be more, but maybe it takes a series of activities to complement each other to bring out the best. But we have been noticing, I would say, remarkable difference. But also just hearing the feedback from those who are involved, you'd hear things like, it makes me feel like I'm top of the world. I'm so happy I did this because I didn't speak to the student before. Ex-teacher brought me together and it was because of the drums. You know, that kind of feedback. It may not be hard data, but it some good things are being able to be pulled out. Bring about awareness.
Yeah.
Because you realize that the drums, you can have to just sit down and focus on your rhythm. And if somebody else is playing a specific rhythm and you need your rhythm to boost the sound or to complement the sound, you too have to have some kind of concentration going on internally to say, you know, keep on the 1, 2, 3, 4, and not get distracted with the 1, 2, 3, 4, you know, the different rates of the tempos, etc. So some good elements being pulled out.
Interesting. So, Mr. Miller, with the drumming, how long the sessions last? And how are the drums, you know, how they get the drums? And how many we talking?
Let me answer the second question first. Right now, we need to be sponsored more drums because we are dealing with this for the youth and the children. It's our Jamaica, it's our country. So we have to do what we can do. See? Next thing, the drum circle is about 5 to 7 minutes. It's not that long.
How many minutes?
But about 5 to 7 minutes.
That's all?
Yeah, man.
I know.
Well, it can go more, you know.
Yes.
It can go more, but you know, just for this,
the average time.
We are going to see.
I see.
Where's the Jonelle?
No, I'm saying the average time is that, but it definitely can be extended based on the needs at the time. At the time.
Yeah.
And why they sit in a circle?
It's
kind of about the communication.
Yes, I was gonna say exactly that. Just
the communication, everything forward full circle in a
separation situation where one person is at the top and everybody else follows. It creates an equal ground. I think that's the best way to put it. Creates an equal ground.
Are there other methods employed apart from the drumming by the VPA?
This is our first practical arts-based approach. We've used sports in the past. We've done robotics with technology, but this is the one that we realized that's more hands-on. It's made a little bit more cost effective. I mean, the drums are a bit pricey, but persons tend to want to, because you have extracurricular activities. It can easily fit into another program, so to speak, as opposed to the robotics where if you have it once, that one student will have to use it. The drums can be easily shared, and things flow easier with the drums. But I'm not negating the other methodologies that we have used.
So they use percussions as well, percussion instruments.
So on the point where Jabari mentioned that we need more drums, we realized that we had to supplement other instruments into the program because every student wants to be engaged, every person wants to be engaged. So we'd have wood blocks, we'll have tambourines, we'll have shakers, you can name it, and it all comes together to form a beautiful sound, as you can imagine.
True. Oh, yes.
Having everybody involved.
Oh yes. So how would both of you respond to those who argue, though, that in spite of all these groups, projects, and programs such as yours, the violence in Jamaica still turn up, not seemingly getting any better? How do you respond to that, Mr. Miller, and then Miss Llewellyn?
Yeah, I mean, people will always speak, but once you do something and you see say it work, what you going to do? It's violence.
But I said if it's not working, Mr. Miller.
Yeah, well, that is their opinion. You going to have an opinion now based upon where you stay and what you experience. To see how you change in life. People can get up and say the sun is not shining and you look and see the sun shining. You know what I mean? Of course, the people going to have them things where they might feel like. But where we are target is the youth them right now. And to make them see, there's more to life. There's something else going on, as Jonelle stated, to be aware of your present moment right now. What's going on? Brain development, education, evolution, rhythm. You know what I mean? These are the things we're dealing with right now.
Yes, Miss Llewellyn, your response to that?
I go back to the same thought about just addressing peace within ourselves. It would take some time for introspection. It would take some time for that individual attention, especially before we go to engage with persons. I believe it's those simple steps that we too can do at home before we get out into society that can possibly lessen the various negative impacts that we're seeing out there. But I don't know if Jabari wants to speak more to this, but also we realize that the home and the communities are sources of influence for the behavior that we're seeing. And Jabari's case is unique because he learned his skills from his father, and they too have been working as a pair. So just having that male role figure, it doesn't necessarily have to be a father. It could be a pastor. It could be a respectable person within the community. It could be a teacher. Sometimes just someone to affirm, someone who you can relate to just affirm the positive within you. I think it goes a long way, and Jamaica is missing a lot of that.
We're going to contact numbers you can give us for those who want to touch base with you.
Sure. Our landline at the office is 702-2079.
Okay.
If persons want to email, we are at vpajamaica@gmail.com.
Okay.
And our social media, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, VPA Jamaica. So they can always send us a message there.
Yeah. Just being curious, Mr. Miller, you have your drum nearby by any chance?
Right beside me.
Yeah, let's go with him there as we
Well, let me take it off the case, guys.
You know the case?
Well,
yes.
But I'm the reminding person doesn't wait for Mr. Miller. Time allows. Here we go.
All right. Okay. Interesting. Thank you both for joining us.
Yes, and remember to wear blue today. And
yes, happy Peace Day to you both. We hope that the projects will be successful and meaningful. And thanks for joining us. Have a peaceful day.
Thank you. Likewise. Have a good day.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, listeners, for being with us. Join us again tomorrow as we continue to set the stage for a discussion of topical and controversial issues. For information or get copies of this program, call our production department at 876-968-959627. This has been The Morning Watch. Thanks to our producer, Kathy Gale, and our guest. I'm Dylan Toussaint, and you're back to Love in the Morning with Jakal Dyer.
I lost my husband to gun violence. My